The history of some of our grains. Domestication of grains. Step 1. Organic. The plant was collected from the wild, no direct genetic manipulation. Step 2. The plant is recognized as valuable and routinely collected for use. The plant is favored on its national habitat and evolution is accelerated. Step 3. Integration. Plants are transplanted from the wild and cultivated close to humans. Strong selection and rapid evolution of diversity will happen. The plant loses characteristics that would allow it to survive in the wild. The plant is highly dependent on humans. A co-evolution has happened. Stage 4. Cultural degeneration. The plant is abandoned and dies because it cannot survive in the wild. Domesticated varieties do not manage nature. When a farmer stops growing a crop, the landrace disappears from the planet. This has been the fate of at least 75% of our landraces, probably more. Co-evolution is developing together. Co-development is the simultaneous development of two or more varieties, with the development of each variety influencing the development of the others. There can be three different types: predator and prey, or parasite and host. Competing varieties. A two-way effect where both varieties benefit. For example, insect pollinates plant or human and wheat. Evolution of wheat. Einkorn was domesticated circa 10,000 years ago. Emmer wheat was domesticated about 7,000 years ago. Spelt was domesticated about 6,000 years ago. Bread wheat was domesticated circa 5,000 years ago. Selection of cereals was done around the world until the end of the 19th century. Today, perhaps 75% of all heritage varieties have disappeared. Einkorn wheat, Triticum monococcum, 14 chromosomes. Einkorn wheat was one of the first plants to be domesticated and cultivated. Einkorn wheat is low yielding but can survive on poor, dry, marginal soils, where other varieties of wheat will not. Einkorn has a few plant diseases. Einkorn's kernel do not break free from its seed coat when threshing, and therefore the husk must be removed from the seed. Because of its gliadin content, einkorn may be less toxic than newer types of wheat for those with a poor tolerance to gluten. It is high in protein, rich in fats, fiber, and amino acids. Emmer wheat, Triticum dicoccon, 4 times in these genomes that will make 28 chromosomes together. Wild emmer is a cross between wild einkorn and a grass named Aegilops. It is believed that this variety has evolved in common from both genomes. It contains genes against drought, salinity, minerals, and it is resistant to diseases. It has high protein and mineral content. It has the potential to give high yields. It is a resource that adapts to climate change. The differences between wild emmer and cultivated emmer are that cultivated emmer grains do not stalk the ground as easily as wild emmer grains. There are white, black, red, and blue emmer. On this photo you can see black emmer from Gotland Island in Sweden. In the end of 1960s, there was found at a field a mixed cereal plot, and in that there was actually a lot of diversity. There was different types of emmer wheat, einkorn, spelt, and also landraces wheat. Among these black emmers there was all the four colors, so white, red, black, and blue. And at that time the yielding was not so good, of course, for these old land races, and they were just stored in a gene bank. Much later, then in 1990s, Hans Larsson in Sweden was working at the Swedish Agricultural University. He discovered or rediscovered this treasure from Ardre, as it is called. And he started then to reproduce these old plants, and they have gained then a huge success or interest among farmers in Northern Europe. Especially this Gotland einkorn is being grown, and of the emmer, it's the white emmer that is being grown most. But among also the spelt, of course, the Gotland spelt is also widely grown already. Among the land races of wheat, then there was also both such with awns and without awns, and they are being also propagated to get more seeds of them. This black emmer, there has been problems with some diseases in it. As you can see in the picture, it's extremely special when you see it in a large field because of this black head and black awns. But there are many similar kinds of this also, not only emmer, but other in the wheat family that have both red and blue and black colors. Spelt, called in Germany Dinkel, Triticum spelta. There are two ways that spelt may have been developed. A naturally occurring hybrid from a domesticated tetraploid wheat and the cross with a diploid wild goat grass, again Argilops, and this time Toshi. A hexaploid wheat could also have been the species derived from hybridization between a domesticated tetraploid wheat, such as a cross between emmer wheat and another wheat species. Spelt is said to be more resistant to pests than wheat and is therefore more suitable for organic farming. It is rich in fiber and high in protein compared to modern wheat. The spelt grain is inside a tough husk. Special machinery is needed to take off the husk. In conventional wheat mill, this embryo may get damaged and then you get much more lower yield. In Finland, the cultivation of spelt was resumed in 1990s, and the area under spelt in Finland was in 2006 a little bit less than 1,000 hectares, and there is no recent statistics available. Club wheat, Triticum compactum, and hexaploid with 42 chromosomes. Club wheat was the first free threshing wheat to be cultivated in the Iron Age. It is closely related to common wheat, but has a shorter, dense spike and smaller seeds. It is believed to be the result of a cross between European spelt and emmer. Club wheat, like other bread wheats, have never been observed to grow in the wild. Bread wheat, also called common wheat, Triticum aestivum, allohexaploid. Common wheat is a combination of 6 sets of chromosomes from different species. 4 sets come from durum wheat, Triticum turgidum, itself a tetraploid, and 2 from Aegilops tauschii, a wild diploid goat grass. Numerous forms of wheat have evolved under human selection. Wheat are named both on genetic and morphological characteristics. About the food menu. Stone Age food, the seeds, contain toxic substances that we get sick from. In wheat, that is phytic acid. Humans have not evolved biologically since we became farmers. Fibers that are food for gut microbes and bacteria are water-soluble like inulin and many saccharides. Resistant starches are also food for good bacteria. Human and gut bacteria have a common evolution. The number of microbial cells in the gut is 10 times greater than the number of cells in our bodies. The number of genes in the microflora is estimated to be up to 3.3 million compared to 23,000 in human cells. Bacteria have many health benefits. Disruption of the gut flora can lead to autoimmune diseases, bowel cancer, heart diseases, and obesity. Coevolution of human grains and gut bacteria. Antioxidants in cereals are bound and only released by bacteria in the large intestine. Antioxidants in cereals are complementary to those in fruit vegetables, which are already released in the small intestine. Whole grain foods, fruits, and vegetables all contribute to human health. Intestinal microflora influence digestion, the immune system, brain development, and defend us against pathogens. Human biological evolution has taken place over a very short period of time, precisely because of the coevolution of gut bacteria and human. Whole grain with their fibers have helped the gut bacteria to evolve. Thus, human is very closely linked to grains. Heritage grains must be saved if we want to save the continued evolution of human beings. Danish Miller and baker Jørn Ussing Larsen's 10 Heritage Grain Commandments. 1. We use heritage grains, local sorts and evolutional sorts. 2. We cultivate organically. 3. We use coarse flour that has recently been milled. 4. We use whole grain flour. 5. We use sourdough for the important taste. We let the dough use time in rising, and we use recipes that function with whole grain and heritage grains. We use as much water as possible. 6. We increase biodiversity in the fields and in what we cultivate. 7. We have good stories. 8. We analyze heritage grains. 9. We use a stone mill. It is simple and cheap technology that functions well with heritage grains. 10. We exchange information with others and are bakers ourselves.